In the neon-drenched haze of 1980s crime cinema, Mickey Rourke emerged as a natural fit for the gritty, blood-soaked tales of violence, corruption, and moral ambiguity. With a boxing background and a streetwise New York demeanor, Rourke embodied the archetype of the haunted anti-hero. While his name would become synonymous with noir thrillers and hard-boiled dramas, one of his most daring and underappreciated efforts came in 1985's Year of the Dragon, a film overshadowed by bigger crime classics like Scarface, yet arguably just as bold. Directed by the Deer Hunter auteur Michael Cimino and written by Oliver Stone fresh off Scarface, Year of the Dragon aimed to shake the foundations of the gangster genre. What audiences got was a bruising, unrelenting tale that tackled organized crime, post-war trauma, and racial unrest with both style and fury. Though controversial at release, the film remains one of the most compelling and misunderstood crime sagas of its era. The brutal brilliance of Stanley White. At the heart of the film is Captain Stanley White, portrayed with brooding intensity by Rourke. A Vietnam War veteran turned NYPD detective, White is thrown into the political and criminal turmoil of New York's Chinatown. He's volatile, uncompromising, and driven by a sense of justice so fierce it often veers into self-destruction. Rourke's performance doesn't ask for sympathy. Instead, it challenges viewers to follow a deeply flawed man who wages a personal war against the triads, even as his methods alienate allies and endanger loved ones. The film isn't concerned with glorifying law enforcement or romanticizing gangster life. It explores what happens when a man fights evil by becoming something dangerously close to it. Too gritty for the mainstream. Unlike Scarface, which stylized its violence into operatic excess, Year of the Dragon refuses to flinch. It dives headfirst into uncomfortable territory, systemic corruption, racial tension, and psychological damage, with a rawness that made it difficult for 1985 audiences to digest. Critics at the time labeled it exploitative, and its portrayal of Chinatown's criminal underworld sparked protests. But in retrospect, this moral murkiness is exactly what gives the film its enduring power. Cimino and Stone didn't set out to make a safe film. They crafted a powder keg, a slow burn of escalating brutality and moral compromise. For those who revisit it today, Year of the Dragon feels less like a relic of the 80s and more like a blueprint for the morally complex crime dramas that would define later decades. Not just another gangster flick. What sets Year of the Dragon apart isn't just its grit, it's the lens through which it views criminality. Most gangster films either glorify the rise and fall of mobsters or portray cops as clean-cut saviors. Here, the lines are smeared. Captain White may oppose the triads, but he's also emblematic of America's own failings, a man shaped by war, consumed by obsession, and undone by his own righteousness. The film also explores the American dream gone sour. It depicts immigrants fighting for control of their communities, law enforcement plagued by politics, and a system that rewards violence with more violence. These themes would later surface in prestige TV shows like The Wire, but Year of the Dragon was already there, decades earlier, charting that murky territory. Rourke's role in a genre he helped shape. For Mickey Rourke, Year of the Dragon was one of two career-defining roles in back-to-back years, alongside the Pope of Greenwich Village. These films cemented his status as the go-to actor for morally gray characters in urban nightmares. While his later roles ranged from thrillers to art-house dramas, Rourke's best work often circled back to crime and consequence, most notably with his turn as Marv in Sin City, another bruising crime epic that embraced pulp with style. In Sin City, Rourke brought the same bruised vulnerability and raw rage that had made Year of the Dragon unforgettable. It was a return to form, a reminder of how potent his screen presence could be when paired with stories of vengeance and grit. Conclusion: a lost classic waiting to be found. Though overshadowed by louder, more celebrated gangster films of its time, Year of the Dragon is no less important. It redefined what a crime drama could look like: bleak, brutal, and unapologetically provocative. Its commentary on race, trauma, and the cost of justice paved the way for more introspective entries in the genre. Nearly 40 years later, it deserves more than cult status. It deserves recognition as a pivotal moment in gangster cinema, a daring, violent, and deeply human story told by artists willing to push past comfort for the sake of truth. In short, Year of the Dragon isn't just underrated, it's essential.